I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Judges, chapter 15, so let's focus on verse 11. Then 3,000 men from Judah went to the cave at the rock of Etam, and they asked Samson, "Don't you realize that the Philistines rule over us? What have you done to us?" "I have done what they have done to me," he answered. The men of Judah blurted out their mission. They have come to bind Samson and to turn him over to the Philistines. Now, oddly enough, Samson offers no resistance, which apparently Judah expected, or they wouldn't have shown up with 3,000 people. He only extracts an oath from them that they won't kill him themselves. And they willingly accept this condition. No reader can miss the irony of their reply. "Oh, Samson, we don't want to kill you. We only want to bind you and give you over to the Philistines so they can kill you." Right. Thanks. Judah, which is the tribe that had formerly waded into battle after battle, had become a collection of spineless wimps. They regarded the Philistines as their rulers and Samson as their enemy. Reminds me of American politics today. In that sense, they remind me of so many in the church today. It seems Christians are increasingly afraid of offending non-believers with the gospel than they are concerned with offending God for not standing up and proclaiming His word. The men of Judah didn't even want to be the Lord's free people. They didn't even see that as a possibility. Are you willing to stand and be counted among His people today, even if you're the only one to stand? It's always a dark day in the history of God's people when they are content to allow God's enemies to control them. And something's wrong with us when we no longer despise our true enemies. Friendship with the world not only offends God, but it is warfare against Him. So in wake of our initial faithlessness, the Lord declared that He was imposing enmity between the serpent's seed and the woman's seed. This divisiveness, this hostility came from the Lord. He was not going to allow even His fallen creatures, Adam and Eve, to cuddle up into the bosom of the evil. The maker of heaven and earth refused to walk away from Eden, shrugging his shoulders and muttering, "You win some, you lose some." No, He is a stubborn God who will set all of creation on fire with holy war in order to have a seed and a people for Himself. Jesus extends the same promise to never leave or to forsake His followers as well. And that's why redemption is an act of violence. That's why Jesus came on a mission of violent destruction. Look at 1 John chapter 3, verse 8 once again to remind yourself. That's why lovers of God are commanded to hate evil in Psalm 97. And while compilers of the Psalms did not edit out those verses 19 through 22 of Psalm 139. So whether it is evil and sin within us or some form of it outside of us, God does not call us to negotiate with sin and evil. If it's inside of us, don't negotiate with it. Cast it out. If it's outside of it, don't cuddle up to it. That's why we're called to spiritual warfare. That's why we are given the full armor of God, because we are to wage war on sin and to maintain a holy hatred toward it in all of its various forms. We are near hopeless whenever we begin to adopt Judah's slogan, "It's always been this way. Can't fight against it, and how can we expect to change anything? We don't want to be known for what we're against, only for what we're for." Well, that's just cowardice and passivity crouched into political correct speech. If we're truly a generation which is desperate for change, then we have to fight for it. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people like you. So if you're being ministered to through the Bible teaching of Groundworks Ministries, and you'd like to help us reach this generation with the gospel and with biblical literacy, would you consider donating to Groundworks Ministries today? Donating is secure and it's easy at our website. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.